Okay. Hello, guys. Sorry about that. Oh, let's see if it's going to pick up who was in here already. I'm so sorry, guys. I switched over to my home computer thinking it would be a better picture. I know I can see the chat better on this. I just wanted to come in and share some of my. You guys were asking me last week about some of the oracles I was using on the readings. I just was going to share with you guys some of the stuff. I'm so I'm so sorry that my slow old mind is not grasping the new stuff here as fast as I would like it to. I have been practicing it, trying. I thought I had it worked out. I'm going to wait just a few minutes and see if anybody comes in. I apologize, guys, if anybody is in there. This is crazy. I'm just going to give you guys a few minutes. Nobody may show up now. I'm sorry about that. I'm totally bombing at this on here. I'm going to have to get better at this. And it's okay because I'm going to put it on here. And if you guys want to watch it back, I'm sure my mic's working now because StreamYard has a little tester that you can test it. I don't know why it wasn't picking up on the YouTube. It's one of those things I can't figure this stuff out. Why it doesn't work there, but it'll work here. I was just going to start sharing with you. I have the Gateway Oracle by Denise Lynn. This was the little deck that you guys saw me using. As you can see, I had the box put up, so I couldn't even show you last week. I have modified this deck quite severe. Oh, I'm trying to get to the right. There it is. I have modified this deck quite severely. You can see how big it was. It fit perfectly in this box. But I could not shuffle it correctly in that because of my arthritis. And I've modified it. I cut it down. I dressed my sides. You can see I cut quite a bit off of that. It just so happened this picture fit perfectly in there after I modified it for myself. This is, I'm just going to do a little quick walkthrough, guys. Comes with this nice little book. That's how big the cards used to be. I love this deck, and I read very well with it intuitively. It does have a little keyword here, and it does have some more little saying here. But this deck I read with intuitively a lot. I don't know if it's because I played with it so much and had it so long that it's, we just have that rapport, me and my guides, with this deck. So it is a beautiful deck. It has a little bit of a weird, coating on it. It's kind of like the Colette Baron Reed deck that I cut down. Hey, Hershey. Sorry, guys, I had trouble. My mic wasn't working on the YouTube, but boy, it'll work on the StreamYard. I'm just showing you guys. I know. Sorry, Hershey. It's the same setup. I didn't do anything other than switch to the StreamYard. Why my mic will work here, but it won't work on the YouTube is beyond me. I haven't figured it out yet. Okay, so I'm just gonna flip through these real quick for you guys. You guys were asking about this. This is a beautiful deck, and I don't know. I was going to talk to you guys about, what draws you to the decks that you're drawn to, the Oracle decks. Because this one came to me, it was on, I think this one was Rock Pool too, or it was Hay House. When they run the big sales, I buy, you know, I buy the decks and I give them as gifts. And this one I was like, I don't know. This isn't really what normally attracts me. But for some reason, me and this deck hit it off right away. And I've had it ever since. And I've given gifts of it ever since. Luck, I'm so sorry, girl. I swear, I have done nothing but switch over to StreamYard. Why the YouTube was not picking that up is totally beyond me. I apologize. I can't seem to get the stuff working right for myself lately, but I'm getting better. I'm just going to use the StreamYard because I don't know what else to do. The YouTube, my stuff doesn't work right with it. Okay, and here's another one of the decks that I used last week. This is called the Goddess Dream Oracle, and it's by Wendy Andrew. Let me just put that up there. It's a beautiful deck too, and I quite by accident got this one. This is a Rock Pool Publishing, and I had made an ordered some of the Rock Pools when they were on sale. And this is not my speed. This is not the deck I ordered, but this is what I ended up with. Thank God, because after it came in, I was like, this ain't what I ordered. It's got the nice little book with it. And it's a beautiful little book. It's got the colored pictures. And it gives a nice little read on there. Tells you a good amount about each card. I love the backs on these. And of course, I had to dress it. I have to dress my decks. I'm just going to do a quick, it gives a good little, self-love. And then under it, it says, love yourself. So it gives good little messages. And you don't have to use the book unless you want to get in depth. It goes way more in depth. Let me get this right so you guys can see it. There you go. Now, this is the kind of deck that I'm attracted to, with a lot of color in it and stuff. That tends to make my psyche pop. It gives me I get good messages when I'm stimulated. And I love these owls. I'm a big owl. And this Celtic kind of vibe. These kind of cards I mesh with. But not always. I've been surprised. This has the lady with the owl face. And you got the spirit owl right here. Using your intuition. This is how I feel. My little owl helps me teeter between the two realms. Okay. This is a very nice deck for people that like these kind of cards. I used to think it was color, but then I got proven wrong. I've got several decks that are not highly colored, and I read just as well with them. So I don't know if it's my guides pick a deck they like, and that's kind of what melds, or it's crazy how we pick our decks. It's crazy how we bond with them. Some we can bond with, some we can't. You guys, I am so sorry about all of the bullhooey. I'm starting to practice more. I'm going to try and get on here every day and do something. Do a show thing like this, talk about some cards, or talk about candle magic books, whatever I want to talk about. Because I'm not just about cards. I like cards, and I love to do readings, and I love to do that, but I like to do other stuff too. Okay. Anyway, last time you guys was asking me about my decks, And I had been on there so long, I didn't want to keep you guys a whole lot longer. I wanted to show you some of my decks. And like I said, that is the Goddess Stream Oracle by Wendy Andrews. And I have not modified this in any way other than to dress it, because it's way thinner cardstock and it's very flexible and it's easy for me to side shuffle. I don't long shuffle this, I can't hold it, but I side shuffle it like this. So, and it gives me really good reads, and I really love the deck. Okay, and then this was another one that I used. Christina, I'm so sorry. Sis, shut that door and I won't bother you. I'm sorry. Okay. This is another one that I used, and it's Earthcraft Oracle. And I love this back. I love all these bright colors and the butterflies in the hands, the world. It's a gorgeous little deck. It's a little box for it. And I believe that's a Hay House also. But I think I did buy that off of Amazon. I'm not going to swear to that, guys. I'm sorry, because I order a whole lot of that. I'm just showing you, this is the kind of cards I'm normally drawn to, really colorful. And of course, we have it done with the, multicolored. There's so many colors in this. And this gives me very, very good messages. This is a beautiful deck. Somebody that was recently using this deck was I'm so sorry. What is his name? His name that does Hershey. What's his name that does the jukebox with Kelly? The jukebox with Kelly. Yeah, I got your rainbow edging on this one. Hershey loves the rainbow edging. I don't usually, but I loved this deck because there's a lot of different colors in this deck. Ben, yes. Ben was using this recently on the Jukebox Tarot. I think I've never seen anybody else but Ben have it. I use the crap out of this though. Me and Hershey love this deck. This deck gives really good reads. And it gives you like this. You really have to use the book with this to get the gist of what the meanings are. But it has a lot of good information in the book. And I get a lot of intuitive hits with this because of the, I don't know, my guides like this deck, I guess. Sorry, guys. Medicine Woman. Prophetic Dreams. A lot of these cards are just like, if you work with the tarot a lot, or you're familiar with the tarot, you get what the meaning is a lot on some of these. Yeah, you have to use the book with this heavily until you get to know it. But it gives really good messages, and it's very insightful. The messages that's in the book, for what these cards stand for. It's a very self-aware kind of deck. This card here I love. I love her eyes. Her eyes are just glowy. There's a lot of spiritual meanings in these, like the tattoos on this one, and the rays coming down, and there's a lot of, this one, the veil over her is, this birch, like the man's face here in this. And the birch tree and the mountains, all stand for things in this deck. So, yeah, I get really good intuitive messages with this one also. I love this with her purple hair. And then it's got the jellyfish in it. The balance. I love this, you know, the darker and the lighter and the yin and yang, sharing energies, you know, the world's light and dark. It's not one or the other, and one's bad and the other's good. It's not how I see it. It's a balance. We're all trying to keep our balance and balance things out in our lives and in does anybody else like to monitor decks? Ben is hilarious and I love him. He's such a sweet soul. He is such a sweet soul. Oops, sorry. That one turned that one of my favorites. She's the gatherer. Love this card too. The thunderstorm. The thunder's him like right in the chest. He's taking in all the energy of Mother Nature. And then the inner healer. I love this one too. I just wanted to share some of my decks with you guys. Yep. I know, Hershey. These are some of my favorites that I use a lot. I have a whole lot of Oracle, me and Hershey both. This one here, let me grab it. This one here was actually given to me by Intuitive Ella. And the kitties gave me this. It's the Universal Folk Oracle. Gave it to me for my birthday, I think it was last year. And this is by Anita in Verity. In Verity. It's in Verity. And this is I'm not sure who prints this. Let me see. US Games. This is a US Games deck. I know. I was like, I don't know if I like that, but I love this deck. I can't be without it. I cannot be without this. It has this beautiful little book with it. And the book box don't look much, but it has each card in there. Nice, gives you meaning, the breakdown for the symbolism in the card. And you know, this one has really good messages on the cards. And the only thing I did with this was put a little pearly on the edges. And I showed you the backs, I think, didn't I? The backs have the birds on them. And the flowers and the greens. This deck here is like, I love this deck. Gives you this little message there. So you really don't have to use the book unless you really want to dive deep. I would recommend you dive deep on this one because there's so much symbolism in this card with all of this going on. But I love this deck. I love this deck and I use it a lot. I'm just going to flip through it really quickly. Like this one's got, you get the symbolism of the flowers, the lion, her Isis headpiece, the little raven, piece of moon there, everything, all the stuff in this deck have symbols on them and help build your message on it. Usually when I'm reading, I don't know how everybody else reads. When I read, I know this art is so me. I'm the gypsy. This art is so me. When I'm reading cards, when I say I get intuitive hits, like I'll be drawn to something in particular. I'll be drawn, to that or to this, depending on the symbol on her forehead, her pointy ears, the flowers. I might be drawn to something specific on there and I'll get messages, based on what people need to hear on us is how I get them. I don't try, it happens. I said, I used to think it was the colors, but I fell in love with these more than I did. Here's my crow. I do love crows. Crows are my thing. She's got one on her head and one right there. I do love animal. I'm a big animal head. I'm just going to flip through these real quickly. Hello, everybody in chat. I'm glad you joined me. Sorry I didn't on here enough. I had issues, but you guys hung in there with me. I'm so glad. And thank you for doing that. So let me just finish flipping through this very quickly. And I just had one more I was going to show. Well, two more I was going to show real quickly. And I wanted to get some input. How do you guys pick your decks? What draws you guys to your decks? What makes you want the decks that you have? What draws you to them? Now, we're just talking Oracle tonight, but you guys were asking questions about the decks, and I didn't have the boxes up here. I couldn't even tell you who made them or whatever. I had to dig the boxes out because I keep these on a little stand. So I wanted to, show you the book. Like I said, this has a very nice book with it. It has the pictures in color. Pictures in color, and gives you a nice little read on that. Like what draws you to the decks you draw, that you own? What was the main thing that drew you to your decks, Fleck? Okay, I'm going to get this one back up. I thought I was done with it because I was talking. I didn't realize that nobody could hear my voice. This oracle here. Now look, I got the little one. I got this. This was given to me. Actually, I've cut a little more off this because I'm going to pass this to a friend. But I got the little one like this, and I've always read with this intuitively because the little one is, a knockoff deck. And I loved it so well. I wanted the big one, so I had the book and everything. So I bought myself this, but then I hated the cards because they were like huge. And they have a funny texture to them, and I hated that. And they were too big for me to shuffle, and I just would use this book with the littler cards. And then we learned about modding, me and Hershey did, watching Lisa Pepez and Boho Tarot. She's the one that got me and Hershey started. And I cut this down to my size, what's comfortable for me. And I had to dress my sides to match the back because I love these cards. I love these cards since I've gotten that little deck. Was given to me as a gift. And, oops, sorry guys. I got a couple of them. This is a beautiful deck. And it's not very expensive. It's Wisdom of the Oracle by Colette Baron Reed. If you don't mind big cards, this is fabulous. If you do mind big cards, you can always cut them down like I did. I just kept, the word here, and I've got my number up here. I cut all the white border away because the white border to me was so distracting. It would totally, you had all these beautiful colors and then the stark white border. I hated it. So I cut all the border away. Like, can you see these? Can you see this affirmation in the clouds? Is this deck is deep for me anyway. It's always been a good reader for me. It's always intuitively hit home. Chaos. This is Hershey's card. Hershey's a Gemini. She's a chaos girl. Her and Brandy both really are kind of chaosy. I love them both to death. These cards are really gorgeous. Anybody that is interested in an easy reader, a soft deck that gives good messages. I don't know. I thought I had this all straightened out, and now I've got it turned every which way. It's easy reader. It's an easy reader. It's soft and gentle. It gives good messages for yourself. I love this. You see the woman right here pointing up to the moon. And there's like a little spirit there's like an energy connection from the moon to herself, which is what we're getting, guys. We got the super moon. We're getting big time energy this week. We have super moon tomorrow, and we have super moon at the end of the month, and we have a full moon in between. This is my favorite card. There's a smart little owl right out here on there's like an egg over here. There's a cheetah up here. You got these little flags sitting on this and then there's something right here. I think what that is. Okay. Like a pyramid. As I said, she can stop by Thursday and grab the book and the bottles, and she's going to mail it to me. Anybody interested in this can so get this deck and use it right out of the box. I mean, before you even, I think I could, I don't know, maybe, but it has a very good book with it, so. Oh, Lord. Thought I had these all. This also has like a yin yang card with it, which the definition in the book is so great for that. Poised. Her little light fairy set. And there's the owls. You'll see a lot of my cards have the owls in them. Work closely with the owl and spirit, so I love this one, Milk and Honey. That's everything. That's everything you could want. Your rainbow, beautiful blue clouds, picnic, milk and honey, something to eat. Truth be told, and there's another little owl. Anyway, that's the Colette Baron Reed deck that I cut down that you guys were asking, what is that? I know it doesn't resemble itself because I've changed it with the cut down. And like I said, it does have a really good book with it. It has this nice big fat book. So you can ask Hershey. When Hershey was here, Hershey's the one that broke spine on this book. I had never picked the book up. And then we started reading the book, and it has a lot of good information in it. I'm glad I did read that book. And then I wanted to share this one because I was using this one, and you all was asking, what is this? This is called Terra Nova. Now, you can find this online some here and there. It's called Terra Nova, and It's not really in print anymore. It's an old deck. I bought it at, it's a secondhand deck I bought at the Soulard Market. It's a big kind of open market by our house. I just loved it. I fell in love with this. I had to have it. Yeah. The kids know this. Brandy and Hershey know this deck inside out because this is one of my drawings. It's good size for me. And then once again, because of the nice bright colors on the back, I had to, dress the sides with, it's got the rainbow sides. But it's kind of it's not no fancy deck. I just like it. I don't know why I'm drawn to it. I love the background and these bright colors. This is my kind of deck. But it's just, it's just Queen of Wands. I'm trying to get close enough you guys can see. Okay, there. This is kind of Pippish kind of deck to me. And I'm not really ever drawn to Pippish deck. This is my Pip deck. This is the only Pip deck that I have because I don't. Oh, I take that back because I got that new one. I got a new little one that's kind of Pippy too. I'm just going to flip through this one real quick. I love this one because it has the colors up here. The cups is blue. Got your fire sign. Blue for, water. Green for your pentacles, which is earth, your earth sign. Pentacles, fire. Yeah. I like it because it has the little colors up at the corners. And then it's just kind of plain. And it's these pretty colors that are on this black background. And I love this size. This is such a nice deck. When my hands are as sore as they can be, I can still manage this little deck. But it is Terra Nova. Now, I saw one similar to this, but it was being called something else, and I can't remember the name of it. I cannot remember the name of it, guys, but, check secondhand stores. Like, if you're looking for interesting decks or a deck that could possibly be your drawn deck, I mean, look everywhere because I keep my eyes open. Sorry, I think that one fell and you didn't get to see it. I keep my eyes open. And if I see an interesting deck, I'll pick it up. Sometimes they work for me, sometimes they don't. Excuse me. Is it from China or Japan? If you give me a second, Fluck, I'll check that. I have to look at the box because none of these ever say on these cards. This was like a used deck. So this never had a book with it. It was in a little kit. I'll show you in just a second. Just flip through these really fast. Like I said, I did see this deck somewhere else, but it wasn't called Terra Nova. It was called something else. Okay, that's the deck. Now let me just get up here and get this box. I'm sorry. Let me grab this box really fast. And I'll tell you what that is. It was at a flea market. This is put out by Running Press. It's put out by Running Press. And it just says Fortune Telling, Tarot Nova, and Palm Reading. It was this little set like this. It just came in this little box like this. And it had, I still have the palm reading cards on here. I didn't even take them out. Because the palm reading cards, and it had the little Terra Nova, and it tells a little bit about it. And so this, I believe this is an American company that put this out. It says Dennis Fairchild and Julie Paschkis, I think that is. It says reveal inner truth with the Terra Nova and the book on palm reading. And it was put out by Running Press, which is an American company, I believe. So that's just what the box thing looks like. And then the palm, I got this for like 15 bucks at the market. And the palm reading book's pretty good too. It's a cute little book. Just has stuff about reading the palm, which I have way better books than this. I just bought it basically for the tarot cards. The little book was an extra plus. The little book was an extra plus. Yes, the audios work. I had to go over to StreamYard, Thomas. I don't know what the problem was. It wouldn't let my audio work on YouTube. It was strange. I don't get it, but yeah, Fleck, I like the palm reading, and I have a really good book. If you like palm reading, let me show you this book. I have a really good book on palm reading. It's called the Palmistry Workbook. And it's got, I got this over at the, I got it out of the bargain books over at, what's the big bookstore, Brandy? What's the big bookstore we go to? Oh my goodness. I'm so horrible with names anymore. Brandy, what's the big bookstore we go to that has the coffee shop in it? Anyway, I got it off the bargain books, like for, $9. But this is like a workbook, and it's got all of this fantastic information in it. And I'm sorry, I'm not doing this very well. But it's got all of these little, like, things that you can practice and do. I mean, this even goes into detail, like the position of your thumb. And then it gives like workbook exercises. It goes into the position of the palms, the mouths. This even uses the fingernails too, which is this is one of the best palm books I've ever seen for, practicing palmistry. And what all that is. This is by Leticia Valverde. And it says step-by-step guide to the art of palm reading. It really is. And it gives you all of the good, yes, Barnes and Noble. That's what it is. The Barnes and Noble. Gives you all the nice little works in here, like practices that you can do to get better at palm reading. I like to palm read sometimes. Sometimes there's some crazy stuff on people's palms. You would never know about them unless you looked at their palm. Yes, Hershey loves those books. The bigger the book, the better it is for Hershey. I mean, like when she got the Thoth Tarot, like she has that stupid, big, huge, giant Thoth book, and she was reading that and kept coming out and saying, what does this mean? I'm not getting, because he gets into depth on the, I read the one Thoth book and that was enough for me. But I can tell you this, I did find her a better book for the Thoth, and it's this one here. I have one, and now I got Hershey one. If you want to look at the Mirror of the Soul on the top, because Aleister Crowley in that big old book, he just rants and goes off the deep end about stuff you can't even keep up with him now. This one is a very good one by Gerd Ziegler. And it just basically goes for the heart of the situation. It shows you the card and goes right into, this is the best book to use with Toph, in my opinion. I mean, unless you're crazy and you want to read all the ramblings of, at the time those were written, I think he was on drugs. So that's what I took it as. Not that he wasn't smart. He was a very intelligent man, and in his younger days, if you've ever read the books, A Diary of a Witch by Sybil Leek, she was big back in the 50s, and she had a jackdaw that talked. She had a jackdaw bird that went with her everywhere, and it talked. It was her familiar. She was a practicing witch in England, and she Edgar Cayce when she was a child, and he taught her a lot about astrology, and that's what she was really known for then. And I do have a book by her. It's packed up right now. If I ever get it out, well, we can look at that book. I'll show you that book because it's really interesting how she talks about Aleister Crowley. I think he came to Americas and got in with a wild crowd and did many drugs, because before that, the people that knew him before that, he was a very intelligent man, very knowledgeable, and very magical. He was, him and Sybil Leek moved in the same kind of circles. Their families had practiced magic for, centuries. They came by it. Pagan witchery practice was in their family, and astrology, and and being a psychic and intuitives. And I found that book so interesting that I couldn't put that book down from Sybil Leek. And I know she's written, like, I think they said 60 books is what she wrote in her time. I know most of them are out of print now. That one was out of print when I bought it. I just found it. I have a really nice bookstore that I trade off and on with a lot. Take some in and then get some out. I always have a little credit there, so I can go in and kind of, if I see something I like, I can pick it up. But they don't carry a lot of the astrology and stuff like that there. Once in a while, you'll find something there you like, but if I find a good book that interests me, I pick it up. Pick up a lot of my stuff secondhand or on the sale thing. Some of them I buy when I got off of Amazon for Hershey. It's a nice book. And if you want to learn Toph, don't buy the big Aleister Crowley. How many pages is in that, Hershey? Like, how many pages is in that big old giant Aleister Crowley? Like 1,000? It's crazy. It's totally crazy. If you want to use a Toph book for studying the Toph, this is a really good one. As a matter of fact, I think I'm sending this one to Thomas. My other copy of this, I'm sending to Thomas. A gazillion. A gazillion, Brandy, yes. A gazillion pages is in that book. And some of them are okay, but he goes off on tangents talking about things that, like, it'll make you crazy if you're just trying to learn the Toph, the Toph tarot. I like the Toph. I studied it when I took classes, and I love the imagery. I can read off these cards. I've never used a book. I just read it intuitively. It has a lot. there's similarities to the Rider-Waite and plus some. I think if you want to know it, you'll I mean, I don't prefer the Toff to, like, I would read with this over the the Toff, but I know her, she loves the Toff. She loves that one. And then I have like the Sun and Moon Tarot I would rather read with, and it's kind of a Toff base, but it's not the Crowley. I think any of the cards that stimulate you and get your psyche going and get you to want to learn and want to discuss, and I think all of that's good. I worked with a witch, but she didn't like talking about it. Well, most people that do any kind of a witchery thing, they don't like to talk about it because that's why I started this. I would never discuss this stuff at my job. People at my job didn't know I could read tarot. They don't know I'm intuitive. They don't know I have like psychic premonitions, and I wouldn't discuss that. It's none of their business. That was people I worked with. People I worked with were not my so-called friends. I had one person there that I considered kind of a friend. So that was my job, and I enjoyed it, and I worked with great people, and they did good work, and they came there, and we all came to work and tried to do the best we could. We worked in the hospital, so hospital work is hard sometimes. But we did our job, and I retired from there. Nessa, she came on my page, I think, a couple weeks ago when y'all was in there. Nessa I worked with her for years. We both retired from there now, so she's got her page going, and she does her thing, and I got me a page going, and I want to talk about tarot, and I want to talk about cards, and I want to talk about palm reading and stones, whatever everybody else likes to talk about. And I feel free to talk about that because I haven't been able to for so many years. Barnes and Nobles, but what is it? Oh, closest is Houston, and not driving in that crazy mess. Oh, wow. Yeah, well, just check out any flick. This one here, this book right here, you can get on Amazon online, and it's reasonable. I mean, go on Amazon, because Amazon, there's a lot of people that put out of print books that are older books that they're trying to sell that are in good shape. I mean, there's another place. What was the other place I used online? Just go online, type in Palmistry Workbook by Letitia Valverde. Just type that in for sale. This Palmistry Workbook by Valverde Verde for sale, and it'll pull up wherever you can order a lot of stuff online cheaper than you can find it at a store. I can nice books that are very informational to me that I use for $2-3 offline, and I don't mind buying secondhand, and I don't mind if there's little love notes. If I get a book and there's love notes in the sides, written in the margins, or written at the bottom or top, I love that. I do it to my own books. I write in my own books, and Hershey loves that, and Brandy loves that. They love my little love notes that I put in there, because it's things that usually when I'm working with a deck and spirit's telling me, oh, that also means this, or it could mean that, or they'll tell me something important, and that's what I write in my little section so I don't forget it. She told me, because I think she thought I wouldn't find out about it. Never told her. Right, Fleck. When somebody trusts you to tell that, you don't want to spread it around. But yeah, I mean, in the house I grew up in, I know my mom is intuitive. She would never say that out loud, but she knows all of her kids, and if something's going on with them, she just gets that feeling in her. She'll say, I got that feeling in my gut, something's wrong. You I know her sister's husband, my Uncle Ronnie. He was always very intuitive, and he read playing cards. He always was playing cards, but he could throw down playing cards. He said he read cards. I feel like he was just psychic and intuitive, and he could throw down cards and give you a reading. So, and he was a Pentecostal pastor, but he just always knew. Me and him, he always knew what was on my mind, and if I was troubled, he always knew it and would talk to me and make things. He was not ashamed of his gift. He, like we would talk before about, I grew up in Baptist. I grew up in a Baptist. My mother belonged to the Baptist church, and nephew belonged to that church, and we have Pentecostal and Presbyterian preachers in our family, and the Bible's always been preached at me. So, in the Bible, it does discuss about the gifts that's given to us, and the gifts of prophecy, the gifts of intuitiveness, the gifts of healing, and those gifts are supposed to be shared with our neighbors and our congregations and our families, and they're supposed to be shared and revered as a gift. But throughout history, it's been turned around and made to be a bad thing. So people that are intuitive in that, they don't want to even talk about it because people sneak at them and make ignorant remarks. And yes, the thrift stores are some of the best places for spiritual books. That's why I was saying that. I can't think of the name of the one up on Grand, but they put little used bookstore on Grand up here in St. Louis. They don't have a lot of spiritual books. They have a lot of books other than that, but spiritual books, not so many. So, yeah, I say, Wiccan, you like Wiccan and you're interested in Wiccan. I just turned Hershey onto that one. To Ride a Silver Broom by Silver Raven Wolf is a really good book. She comes out of England, and I find that the more knowledgeable Wiccans and pagans come out of England or Ireland area. That's how I was, Fleck. That's how I was. I was raised in the church, and I fault nobody for believing whatever they want, because my opinion is, and I say this loud and clear, we are all trying to get to the same place the best way we know how. And I believe, like, whatever feels good for you and true in your heart is what is right. So whether that be Buddhism, Hinduism, whatever, if that's your belief and that's what feels true in your heart, then that's what you're meant to believe. I had this class when we were in high school, and it was taught by a very nice teacher that we had, Mr. Faber. He's one of the smartest men I ever had the pleasure of ever getting to talk to. But he offered a extra class in literature. It was called Bible as in Literature. And it wasn't a mandatory class. You could take it as your English elective. And so I did, just because I liked Mr. Faber and I thought it would be a challenge. Knowing him, I thought it would be a challenge. It was, because like one of our curriculums in the class was he copied this like Bible verse and he handed it out to all of us students in the class. And he said, I want you to read this and then I want you to write what that means to you. And then we did that, and then we took turns standing up and reading what that meant to us. And out of 32 people in the class, nobody had the same interpretation for what that paragraph meant to them. So, like, I took away from it, when we read something, if it resonates with us and we're meant to hear it, if our spirit and soul is meant to hear that and resonate with it and have a message with that, we're going to get the message that we're supposed to get from it. That's my thought on that thing. Doesn't mean anybody else is wrong or right. It's, I believe our spirit, our soul takes in what it needs from what we just read. And that was part of our lesson, part of our path, part of our, uprising, whatever we decided that meant to us is what we was supposed to have. Not that anybody else was wrong or right. That's what they were supposed to get out of it. So I just find that so fascinating. But that's with any book, I mean, I can read something out of this book. When Hershey and Brandy's here, sometimes what I take out of this is a message on the card, and what they see as a message on that card is totally different. And that's okay. I feel like we all can look at the same card, and this could mean something totally different to me than it does to you, but it doesn't make either of us wrong or right. That's the message we're supposed to be getting to pass on to whoever we're reading for. And that's how I feel about it. What is it? I was raised from 10 a.m. to 7 p. What? What's 10 a.m. to 7 p? Brandy? My dad did that too with playing cards. Yeah, your daddy's very intuitive and I think a bit psychic. He would never say that, but hello, Deborah. Welcome in. I'm sorry to just jump in. However, what book are you talking about? I'm curious. Also, I've been impressed with looking up books on Amazon. Yes, so much, Deborah. I was one of the people in the group said that they were interested in the palmistry, and I said I have a really good book. I got this at Barnes and Noble. I'm sure you could get it anywhere. It's maybe out of print now because it's pretty old, but it's a palmistry workbook, and it gives you lots of. It's called Palmistry Workbook, a step-by-step guide to an what is it? Oh my God, a step-by-step guide to the art of palm reading by Leticia, Laeticia Valverde. But it gives you these nice little, let me find one so I can, here's a good one. It's a workbook and it gives you these nice little lessons. Let me get it up close so you can see. It has nice little exercise lessons in here, like you read about. This is talking about the psychic hand and how you can tell if you're psychic by your hand. But then it gives you these little workbook exercises that you can do. I didn't write in the book with mine. I just wrote in my little journal book. But this was a really good book for palmistry. It was very informative. I mean, they go into the most minute. Look at this, just to show you. This is the like little lines that's on your hand in different places, and it tells you what each of those little lines or chains mean. And then she also gives you like actual pictures of people's palms. You know, tells you what the points of interest are in them. You know, and tells you, she makes the notes of what you should be looking for. It was a very good book, and it helped me a great deal. There was a lot of stuff on the hands I didn't even realize. It was very in depth, and I enjoyed that. And then also we were discussing for the Toth, this one here, Gerard Ziegler's talking about the Toth. And this, compared to the big gigantic book that was put out by, Aleister Crowley, that 1,000-page monstrosity that goes on rants for days. This little tarot book is so informative, so straightforward. If anybody's wanting to study Thoth, like this gives you the card, it gives you the little breakdown. I'm getting the right place, Steph. Gives you the card. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Gives you the card, gives you the little breakdown, and then it tells you also tells you like indications, questions, suggestions, and affirmations. So it gives you a lot of information where it's not so, like, he's straightforward with the information, which I love. It's not big tawdry rants. This is a really good tarot study guide for the Thoth. You just looked out my palmistry book today and have it on my bed next to me. Oh my God, that's funny, Deborah. See, my name's Deborah too. You wouldn't be a Virgo, would you? I just think I love that little book. I lucked into this. I totally lucked into it at the Barnes and Noble, and it was such a good book. It's so informative, and it breaks it down easily. It doesn't like take it on for days. It just breaks it down in sections, and it makes palm reading very easily learned. The little marks on your hands and stuff. And then for Thoth, anybody wanting to learn Thoth, this book right here, it's so straightforward. It's just like using one of these to me. It's that straightforward, and I like that. It's not going on into a million things. Thrift books, yes. Thrift books are in. I love to go to the thrift stores, and then like this little tarot here that I was talking about, Deborah. I found this at the Soulard Market. It's called oh my God, the Terra Nova. It's called the Terra Nova. It's my favorite deck. I've had it for ages. Me and Hershey was walking through, and I found it. I had to pay. It was $15. It was used. It was in this little gift set with a palm reading, a little tiny palm reading book. This little book here came with this little palm reading book, and then the deck of Terra Nova cards right there. But it came in this nice little box. Just a fortune telling. This is a nice little set. I've never seen any set like this. Just says fortune telling, Terra Nova, and the palm reading. And it's by Running Press out of, the States here. But I just loved this little set for $15. It was a steal. And I am crazy about the Terra Nova cards. So, yeah, and I got this at like secondhand at the Soulard Market. So some of my best finds are found secondhand in the used stores or in the you know, sometimes in yard sales even. But yeah, I so enjoy the cards, but I find it funny, like, would do you guys ever have to modify your cards? Because I have arthritis and big cards are hard for me, especially if they're this thicker. This is a thicker and it has a weird kind of a texture on it. It's a thicker, real thick card, and it has a funny texture. So I totally modified this in a major way. Like it was this big, and I modified it. It had big white borders on it and craziness. And I told Hershey, I need to cut that down, and I'm gonna free the art. Free the art. I love it when there's no borders. The art pulls me in more. So I find it, you know. Thanks, Fleck, for coming in. Good talking to you, girl. I'm going to be back on Wednesday. I got more goodies to show and tell. So anybody that wants to come back Wednesday, I've got some more decks that I've got lined up to go over. And I might get some books out. I have a tub of books in there that I might find that Sybil book and get it out. We can go over that and a couple other books that maybe people are interested in. But I'm going to be signing off because I've been on here an hour and 4 minutes, and I swear I'm going to start cutting it down to just an hour so I'm not keeping everybody late. But thanks for joining me. And if you guys have any questions, you want to put them on here, I'm gonna try and work up a good thing for Wednesday to keep myself on task so I'm not rambling like an idiot. And if you have any questions about anything, books, I do have quite a few books. I'm the library. Sorry. You see books up here. I have a shelf of books on the bottom, and I have 3 shelves of books on this side. So, and I have 5 shelves of books out in my living room. And I have tubs of books in my storeroom. I do like books. And if I don't know about it, I would like to learn about it. If I'm interested in it, I want to learn about it. And there's nothing wrong with that. So I'm going to sign off here, guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for coming in. Please leave a comment and a like for me. If you've got ideas on something or you have a question about something you want to talk about, please put it in my comments on the YouTube page, and I'll address those and see if I can work some up when speak on it Wednesday. I am going to start trying to come on here every night just for a little while and do a little something. And I hope that works out okay. Anybody that can join me, please do. If you can't, never feel obligated. You want to watch the watchbacks on it, that leave me a like, that would be fabulous. And leave me comments, because I check the comments and I answer people if they ask questions. And I appreciate you all joining me, and thanks a lot. You guys have a good night. I appreciate you. Thank you. Come back Wednesday. Or I might be on here for tomorrow for a little bit, but we'll see. Okay, thanks.